Have you nervous with all the massive fluctuations? With the impact of coronavirus and the upcoming election, it's virtually impossible to guess what will happen next. With Vantage Point, you don't have to. Text money to 411-411 to find out how our technology can forecast market trend changes with up to 87.4% accuracy. That's right, 87.4%. Text the word money to 411-411 to get what you need to stay ahead of market trends and better protect yourself from sudden downturns. Vantage Point's patented technology analyzes huge quantities of global data in seconds. No more guessing when to stay or when to get out. Text money to 411-411 and we'll send you a link to our free demo so you can better protect your hard-earned capital with Vantage Point. Don't wait. Text the word money to 411-411.
Go to VantagePointSoftware.com for terms, conditions, and prices.
I'm Reverend Peter Preble, host of Faith in America on WCRN 830 AM. On Faith in America, we hold conversations at the crossroads of faith and society. Faith in America, Sunday mornings at 6 a.m., right here on WCRN.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Lavache, you're all set with your mortgage, and I assume you understand what you just signed.
A stack of papers, George?
That's right. And for future, just call this number if you need anything. And, I'm gonna need that pen back.
The mortgage process can be confusing. Looking for the right rate, the right term, and most importantly, the right place to get your mortgage. At Clinton Savings Bank, we are committed to getting the mortgage that's right for you. You may even receive up to a $750 credit off your closing costs. Plus, right now, you can lock in the rate from your pre-qualification for 90 days while you look for a home. So what are you waiting for? Definitely not this.
Oh, boy. Hi, Mrs. Lavache. How can I help? You're breaking up. Try again later.
Subject to credit approval. Offer may be withdrawn at any time. For complete details, exclusions, and credit costs and terms, call 888-744-4272. Apply at ClintonSavings.com. NMLS number 422081. Member FDIC. Member DIF. Equal housing lender.
I want to tell you what Cantiani Insurance has been able to do for me and Teddy. We stopped in to see Paul Sr. and the great staff at 318 Plantation Street. They've been handling my car and business insurance for years. Teddy was making his way around the office, and they let me know. They now offer pet insurance. For a fraction of what one visit to the vet was for Teddy, they could cover him for a whole year. I know you treat your furry family members like any other family member, and as well as I do Teddy. The professional staff at Cantiani has been providing courteous service for over 40 years, with integrity and personalized service, making sure that your insurance actually protects you and your family. With 2 locations, the 318 Plantation Street in Worcester and East Douglas Insurance Agency,
1 minute,
306 Main Street in Douglas. For home, auto, business insurance, and now pet insurance, click CantianiAgency.com or call 508-791-2088. 508-791.
One confirmed case in Worcester.
Being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system. And get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. And like me, you'll be glad you did.
All right, baby, here we go. Your mic is live.
Our topics are large and small. When you really need to know, we are the show. You want to know, it's time to talk to you.
All right, folks, good morning and welcome to Sunday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show. I hope you enjoyed Faith in America with Reverend Peter Preble from 6 to 7 o'clock. part of the Cameo Media family. And we're here for the next hour to 8 o'clock, and then we'll continue. Peter Blute, of course, coming in from 9 to noon. Good morning. Ted A. behind the glass today.
Good morning.
That's a treat.
Hi.
You're not normally in on a Sunday.
No, it's a special Sunday to be here with you.
Yeah, of course it is. All right, folks, let's get some of the housekeeping out of the way. You know the number, 508-871-7000.
What's that number?
508-871. You know, I repeat it always twice. There's no need for that. 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. And, of course, we have our text line, which is up and running, so you can text into the show, just like you text your buddy to meet you for a cup of coffee or a beer. Just text your comment, question, input to 617-297-8388.
Send
That's
my buddy over with a cup of coffee. I like the sound of that.
617-297-8388. Now, if you can't text because you don't have the phone in front of you, but you do have a device, if you email textjoeontheradio@gmail.com, it appears on the same screen. So either the 617-297-8388 number, or just simply email me at textjoeontheradio@gmail.com, and it appears in real time while we're on the air. I'm sure we'll hear from Keith Lambert, our buddy of New England Trump Stores, find out what's going on there. Do you like your little things left on your desk this morning?
Oh, man, that was amazing. I walked in and found this pen that has...
can you push it next by the microphone? See if it can hear it.
Well, I got.
All I have is I have that, but
here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the first one.
Hit it again. Hit the other arm.
It's a little pen.
So explain. So this is Trump. It's a pen Trump or a Trump pen with a big head, and he has two arms with boxing gloves on it. If you hit the button in the back, either the right arm or the left arm goes, but it also says something.
Yeah.
Is there another saying on it?
Yeah. There's one, I think, don't touch the hair. Let me see. Yeah, it's not cooperating now.
You loosen the arm. Never a 7-Eleven. Okay, so it's making fun of him. Got it. All right.
Good people don't go into government.
Right. Anyway, so
thanks,
I'm
Joe.
sure we'll hear from Keith Lambert at some point during the day here.
And I got a coffee cup too.
Oh yes. Those were around. They were from Valentine's Day. I want you. I think one side it's Trump's character saying, "I want you on this side of the wall." And the other side saying, I wouldn't deport you or something like that. Which, when you think about it, those are very sweet Valentine's Day messages, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
So,
and it's in a lovely bag. and I can tell that's not your handwriting.
No, that was a bag from Christmas or something left around.
I love it. But yes.
I needed something to put it in, that's all.
I wouldn't deport you.
Yeah, really.
I want you on my side of the wall.
So let's, that's the one side is, I want you on my side.
There's a picture of him throwing a kiss. That's lovely.
So those are cute mugs. By the way, I do have Trump, closet full of Trump stuff, so anybody interested in picking out something from our Trump, from the New England Trump stores, there's mugs and hats, and I know Gene's probably listening. I told you a week or so ago, don't forget, I did get a special pink Trump hat for you, Gene, and I set that aside just for you. So.
Well, Joe, I think it's time for Trump to come out of the closet.
On which front?
You said you have a closet full of Trump stuff.
Oh, yeah.
What were you thinking, Joe?
Yeah, I don't know, man, because I got to tell you, he's got a lot of children from several different ladies, right?
Yeah.
508-871-7000 to join the conversation. I think it's probably time for us to give a little update on the coronavirus situation because there is in United States, right? So there's a total of 3,045 cases, and we just increased by 102. Now, the deaths in the USA have gone to 60. New deaths, it went up because we had 57. We added 3 to that.
Right.
Total recovered 56. And let's see, active cases 29. 29. 10 of those are considered very serious or critical situations. And it's the total cases per population in the U.S. is 9.2. But you've got other places like Italy, which is 350 per 1 million people. I mean, their deaths are over 1,400, and they have 21,000 plus active total cases. So Italy's in a real tough situation. So that was actually some additional countries were added on to the travel ban, and there was some talk yesterday about some
Ireland
domestic.
and England.
Ireland and England were added.
Right.
Now adding some domestic travel restrictions were talked about as well.
Joe, just for the audience's sake, could you let us know what you're using and what the timestamp is on that data? Is that there?
Yeah, I'm checking. So if you want to check this out, you can go to the World Clock. So the World Meters. All right, if you go to World Meters, they have meters for everything. COVID-19 coronavirus outbreak.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, exactly, right? So worldwide, 157,664 cases, 5,864 deaths, but 76,000 have recovered. So that is, again, go to worldmeters.info, and it should be refreshed on a regular basis. So this was updated. What I'm looking at was updated today, but at 10:50 GMT, which is Greenwich Mean Time,
right.
Which means that is what is called Zulu time, a universal coordinated time. This is the time that it is in Greenwich, England, and the reason for that is when the entire concept of time was created on the planet, we divided time zones. And obviously there were 15 degrees in every time zone because 24 times 15 is, 360 degrees in a circle. So the scientists who actually came up with this lived in Greenwich, England, and therefore what is called the prime meridian runs through Greenwich, England. So when military people, which is why you hear them in these movies, they'll say, oh, give me 2342 Zulu. When they say Zulu, they're meaning UST, Universal Coordinated. UST is Universal Coordinated Time, or GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. So if it's 10:50, they are now, because we just set our clocks ahead, 4 hours ahead of us. So 10 o'clock would have been at 6:50 this morning. So 25 minutes ago.
Right.
So 25 minutes ago, this was updated worldwide. So that is pretty up to date. I mean, we're talking information under a half hour old.
Well, let's encourage the audience over the next few days and weeks to look at the data and compare it to data from the year before so that you get a perspective as to what the death numbers are.
Although we didn't have coronavirus outbreak a year before.
What I meant in terms of flu.
The flu, right?
Coronavirus.
Look at the flu, right? And this is part of the discussion that we're having around the country today, and in talk radio specifically, is the hype and maybe some of the politicization that is going on with the coronavirus, because we lose more people so far. We lose more people to the flu and car accidents and late-term abortion and all kinds of things that we don't go nuts over. Now, by no means am I downplaying. This is a very serious situation. And it's great that we've swung into kind of this huge national effort. Now, the president did declare this a state of, or a national emergency, I should say, which literally frees up billions of dollars in funds to fight this. Even here in Massachusetts, Governor Baker has declared it a state of emergency. And by doing that, that also frees up some funds. So Massachusetts established the COVID-19 Response Command Center. It's expanding who can be tested for the virus. Baker said that the state's health commissioner, they announced this yesterday. Now, the new center is going to help coordinate the Commonwealth's lab testing, the quarantining, and, of course, more. It will have the authority to tap into whatever state funds are needed. Okay, that means they can literally cross, the line and pull from any department that they need, including the $15 million appropriated by the legislature for the coronavirus. So the state legislature kicked in and said, we need to we need to do this, and they immediately established that. Now, Health and Human Services Secretary Mary Lou Sudders, she's going to head up the command center. That will be the single point of decisions made regarding the administration's response. And then she goes on, Baker said rather at the release yesterday, this team of experts will focus solely on pushing back against the disease and moving quickly to respond to the needs of our communities and our residents. Also, yesterday, Sutters outlined some new policies for expanding testing. Clinicians will no longer have to receive testing approved from the state lab before they send a sample for patients that meet particular criteria. So that's also an important thing to know. Now, we're also seeing, ridiculous politicizing of this. There's an Illinois mayor, right, who declared a ban on the state. He declared a ban on the sale of guns due to the coronavirus. What is the connection there? That's an opportunity. He's opportunistic there. We know that Pelosi tried to sneak the abortion funding into the virus response package. So we have certain members of our political landscape exploiting the sickness and deaths of Americans to push a political agenda. And that is pretty disgusting. 508-871-7000. Let's go to Ken. Good morning, Lieutenant.
Good morning, Colonel Joe. Lieutenant Ken reporting.
What's on your mind this morning, sir?
Well, I'd like to switch topics because, you can go anywhere to get coronavirus information.
Mm-hmm.
And, even if we try to mix it with politics, I think that's a mistake. Because if there are sources you don't like and don't trust, don't listen to them. So as a result, if you don't listen to them, you won't know about the crazy things you're doing.
True, which is one of the reasons that I'm suggesting that you go to the worldmeter.info, because that's a site that simply facts people. It's just the facts. Yeah. You're just going to know what's going. There's no political commentary. It's not an article. It's just a site recording the statistics.
Lacking spin.
Yeah.
And to get the specific spelling, it's Worldometers.
Worldometers. Yeah.
And then coronavirus, and you're in. And so I have followed that for 6 weeks.
Good.
Along with checking Wikipedia. Even though I don't like Wikipedia, at least Wikipedia, you get some numbers, which, when it's not specifically politics, should be pretty reasonable.
Yeah, the problem with Wikipedia, of course, is that anybody can change the numbers, whereas with Worldometer, it is controlled by a handful of people that are in that business.
Agreed. But there are certain charts that get you more levels of detail with Wikipedia. But I agree that it's a little more shaky. But getting to my topic.
Yeah, you want to talk about Biden?
Wake up, America. Let's be serious. You cannot have this level of senility as President of the United States. Seriously.
Well, I thought he was running for Senate.
Yeah.
This isn't a joke anymore. Although I appreciate this isn't a joke anymore.
No, it's not a joke. And I don't know if you caught yesterday when Jerry was on, we talked about this very seriously. And there was a point, and I'm sure, Ken, you listen to the station on a regular basis and probably the roundtable and all that, that I, at one point, just a matter of weeks ago, I defended him to a degree. We all forget a word here and there. However, as he gets more exposed, you can see the consistency. You can see that there's absolutely something more going on than just having a lot of things on your mind. Everybody can kind of understand that. You can tell when someone's just a little ragged, and they're running a little ragged. He absolutely loses the train of thought to the point that you can tell he's not quite sure what he was doing, what he's saying, and where he is, or what's going on. And it's not funny. And I'm not being mean. I'm not at all. I'm not being mean. I'm not trying to make fun of the guy. I wish that the people close to him his family or whatever would have prevented him from going down this road. Honestly, remember back when he didn't run in 2016, when he announced he wasn't going to run in 2016, right? His numbers shot through the roof, right? He was the best candidate because he wasn't a candidate. And what is that old thing about the difference between a politician and a statesman is time. And Joe Biden should have hit the pinnacle of the vice presidency and then become a statesman by now. And that could have been his legacy. And all of his gaffes and all of his misspeaks that happened in the 40 years preceding the vice presidency would have just been the Uncle Joe, right? And he would have. This is putting too much pressure and too much spotlight on this guy, and he can't. I mean, his temper's off. He's not all there. I mean, remember back in the campaign, they basically forced Donald Trump to take the cognitive test because he tweeted after midnight, and he passed it, of course. But I think that's at the bar. Don't you think that that's fair game to talk about Joe Biden's brain? Don't you think that it's fair to say he should have the same test Donald Trump was forced to take?
But the other side isn't even logical anymore. They don't think. It's all emotion.
True.
I mean,
look, we've had. I mean,
we have to start diagnosing not that the whole party is as bad as Joe's state is in, obviously, but what's driving their thinking? Is it just fear?
Well, look, you can go back 100 years and find political parties nominating absolute nutcases, and it was handled by the American people through the electoral process.
It was, and you got to try to hope. I mean, I'm pretty confident, folks, that if it was a general election between Biden and Donald Trump, that the condition of of Biden would be evident in the debates with Trump, that kind of thing, which leads me to believe that the door is open for a convention round robin there, a little brokered convention or a little loop-de-doo going on there, and they slide another
that
candidate.
Just spells corruption. We know all the stories of corruption around 2016. This is going to be multiple times.
Well, yeah, but see, that's the thing, right? We straight out busted Donna Brazile and busted the corruption and fixing the election in 2016 for Hillary Clinton, which, by the way, last I checked, was a federal offense to fix an election, yet nothing happened.
Right.
And the response that you get is, well, the Democratic Party, like the Republican Party, can choose their nominee any way they want. What I find interesting is that they continually change the rules of the game in the middle of the game as they see fit. They don't want Tulsi Gabbard on it. They change the rules for a debate. They wanted Bloomberg to be able to get into the debate. They change the rules for the debate. In other words, they're not setting all the rules out way back at the starting line, and these are the rules until the finish line. We will change them and edit them and do whatever we want to do for whoever it is within the party making those decisions.
Look, guys, we have to face it. Not only is the Democratic Party bankrupt financially, but they are bankrupt morally.
Yeah,
so any kind of corruption is acceptable. You have to, once they cross the line where there are no rules that are appropriate for them, then anything goes.
Yeah. All right.
So what happens at tonight's debate?
Oh, well, okay. So this is going to be interesting because first of all, we know Bernie Sanders isn't going to attack. That's really not his style. But he also very much believes what he says, and he believes he's right, and he believes all this. And Joe Biden cannot take any pushback against his record or anything that he said. And I think part of that reason is he literally forgets. Look, we saw what he did with the auto worker. He absolutely seemed like he had no idea what this guy was saying. He called him a bold-faced liar, after he threatened to slap his face and wanted to take him outside and said he was full of S. So it's as if he absolutely did not remember him on stage with Robert Francis, and that Robert Francis swore that they were going to come and take your guns away door to door. He absolutely didn't know what that guy was talking about. So will Joe Biden lose his temper tonight? Will we see that, that person come out? I mean, I don't know if in his mind, he still thinks he's a 24-year-old in shape guy. He keeps threatening. It's like the other night I was watching, I don't know if it was Hannity or something. He had Geraldo Rivera on the Skype or on the screen, and you had Dan Bongino. Now, I think everybody knows who Dan Bongino is, former former police officer, former Secret Service agent.
Yeah, the real deal.
And he has a YouTube thing he does, and now he just picked up a contract as a commentator on Fox. And he's good. And they were talking about stuff Geraldo was upset about something and not believing him, and he actually said on air to Don Bongino, "Oh man, I wish I was there in person," And Bongino just said, "Oh really? I would really rethink that strategy if I were you." I mean, ridiculous, Joe. You know your limits and so forth. But I got to run right now because I've got to get Ken in before the bottom of the Ken. I got to get Steve Lambert in before the bottom of the hour here. Thanks for the call, though. Good morning, Steve. Thanks for calling in. How are we doing at New England for Trump stores? Steve, are you there? He probably walked away from the phone.
I hear him breathing.
I know. Well, okay. Well,
right,
maybe he'll come back to the phone in a minute, and maybe back after. I don't know. Is my clock straight in here? Because how far are we away from Out with Joe?
We're three
seconds
over.
Oh, do we need to break now?
Yeah, let's have a break.
Let's go to the case files of the LPDAM right here on AM 830 WCRN.
Good morning and welcome to Case Files from the LPDAM, where we take a look at actual cases, the law, and the lessons from the findings, and where we share the experience of the experts of the Private Detectives Association of Massachusetts. I'm Joe Mangiacotti, and joining us this week is Sean Burke. Sean is president of LPDAM and the resident manager of Courtside Legal Investigations. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, Joe.
Well, Sean, here we are again, and on this week's edition of Case Files, what I'd like to ask you about, and I think this is going to be interesting to our listeners, because, again, we have to compete with Hollywood and the TV version of the Private Detective, the technology involved in cases and how technology plays a role in the private investigation business. Can you touch on that?
Well, Joe, when you think of the 21st century, you often think of technology. My kids can't get off their phones, their computers, iPads. It's insane.
Ignore that clock.
Smartphone in their hand.
Watch me.
Become computerized. And computers tell us how to do everything now. Sometimes it seems like people have forgotten how to think. With that said, technology is a double-edged sword. What does technology often do, Joe? Data collection. Think about it. It's how the World Wide Web works. This data collection is accessible to licensed private investigators through database collection services that are specifically designed for law enforcement and other professionals like private investigators. These types of services are not directly accessible to the public. Under the Find Investigator tab at lpdam.org, your listeners can find a professional licensed private investigator that can responsibly provide them access to such information for legitimate purposes. Joe, as you know, information is power. Our investigators are also capable of phone dumps and hard drive transfers that can be obtained and ultimately used in court if necessary. This is especially popular in spouse cases, Joe. When technology is involved, don't be played like a fool. Consult and hire an LPDM member business who has the ability to get factual technology data at lpdm.org.
Wow, that's fantastic, Sean. You know, I think everybody thinks that a PI has a Chloe or one of those computer hackers back at the office that can work their way through 20 levels of encryption in 30 seconds before the next commercial.
That's interesting, Joe, because Hollywood would lead you to believe that. But the truth of the matter is, hard work and specialized knowledge is how an LPDM member business delivers a quality product to its clients.
Thank you, Sean, for stopping in again to LPDM Case Files.
Thank you, Joe.
And thank you for joining us for Case Files from the LPDAM. Join us here each week on WCRN 830 AM and online anytime at lpdamcasefiles.com. Visit us at lpdam.org, and you can find LPDAM on Facebook and Twitter at PI in Mass, and anytime at 800-955-6274. For Sean Burke, I'm Joe Mangiacotti.
My boyfriend boyfriend pays my bills. My ex-husband pays for my good times.
A recent change in the law can reduce or eliminate your alimony payments if it's proven your ex-spouse is cohabitating. Call Clandestine Investigative Services to find out about your ex.
I've been working 3 years under the table now. Court ordered child support. What they don't know about, I don't pay.
Is your ex concealing income from you to avoid paying child support? Call Clandestine Investigative Services. We'll get you the facts.
Call now, 508-296-5445. That's 508-296-5445. Or click newenglandinvestigators.net. That's neinvestigators.net.
This is the Joe MJarch Show. We are the show. You want to know? It's time to talk to Joe.
All right, folks, welcome back here to the final segment of the Joe MangiaCardi Show here on this Sunday morning, the 15th, a couple days before St. Patrick's. That's right. Hopefully you heard the great St. Patrick factoids at 6:30 on the Out With Joe show. So you had Boston, Worcester canceled the parades. I was supposed to be getting out of here and headed over for the parade, but that's not happening. But a lot of the after parties and stuff are happening. Did Keith get back to the phone? Keith, did you make it back? Keith? No,
he's gone.
All right. Well, I messaged him just in case he does come back. We'll hop on. But
We'll be
as far
ready
as I
to
know,
go.
everything's going well. I know they were having some special sales for St. Patrick's. But go to Facebook, New England for Trump stores. You can find all the locations and the hours there. Go check it out. Today, you had a couple New England Trump store gifts for you, waiting for you when you came in this
Wonderful
morning.
stuff. I
And
love it.
Joanne, would you like something from the Trump prize closet? Good morning.
Oh, good morning. Yes, sure. Is it free?
Yes, of course it's free.
Oh, I'd love anything.
Okay.
Anything.
All right. Well, what we'll do is, I don't know, how far are you from the station?
Well, I don't know. Where's the station?
Well, Westboro, Mass, on Route 9.
Oh, I'm in the Worcester area.
Oh,
Yeah.
we can arrange for something. So leave your info with Ted before you hang up after we talk.
Okay.
Good morning,
Will do.
Joanne. What's on your mind today?
Well, I'm glad you're coming around to my way of thinking, Joe, with the brokered convention. Because, you know what? That is the only thing that is real. Otherwise, it's another hoax.
Well, Joanne, I was actually not on board with the brokered up until recently because every 4 years we hear brokered convention, and it hasn't happened for like 60 years, maybe longer, 70 years. But the point is that you're looking. It looks like they're going. They, meaning the DNC, right? Whatever Democratic powers to be, will do whatever they need to do not to let Bernie to be that, right? He doesn't have the delegates as it is. Joe...
He's already out of the picture.
Right. So now it looks like Joe's going to be the presumptive nominee, and you got to think, Joanne, that, again, back to whoever's pulling the strings and the powers to be within the DNC, I'm assuming that President Obama is one of those.
George Soros,
Right.
Cabal,
So anyway, the powers to be are saying we can't really put Joe Biden on the stage with Donald Trump. And if they are willing to do that, it's totally they're writing off the next 4 years. They have
Political suicide.
Yeah, they have another plan, right? They're going to continue impeachment efforts or whatever it is that they're going to do. But the point is, so they're saying, all right, so we have Joe become the nominee, and this is why, and I don't know if you caught this, but I'm using Greg Gutfield's analogy that if Joe Biden is the nominee, a Biden presidency would be like in real estate buying a teardown. That Joe's the house, the vice president's the foundation, okay, is the lot. And that's what you're buying. You're buying the lot. You're going to tear down the house, meaning Joe it would become the president, and very shortly, at some point, he would retire, step down for health reasons, what have you.
Or be taken out,
or be removed, maybe. But the point is that the vice president would then ascend to the presidency. So if Biden, if we go forth and nothing happens at the convention, and Biden is the candidate, his vice presidential choice is going to be as if you're voting for that person as president.
As if you're voting for Barack Obama's third term. Yes, of course.
That too. I mean, that very much too, because obviously if he had all the answers in the 8 years he was in the administration with Barack Obama, why didn't he tell B.O. what to do?
if he had all the answers.
I thought by now we'd have midnight basketball everywhere.
That's a throwback to Jimmy Carter. That was Carter put that in, midnight basketball, yeah.
So I guess we could say, if it whoever it is, whether it's a broker convention, that person or Biden does get the nomination, whoever they put up for the vice president is the same person. Either way.
Yeah.
So either way, it's going to be like a Michelle Obama or a Hillary Clinton or a Terry McAuliffe or an Eric Holder, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Right, Joe?
And let me, Joanne, so a text from 774 came in and said, isn't Biden's wife a doctor? The answer is she's 55 years old. She is a doctor, but she's a doctor of education.
Oh, okay.
She's not a medical doctor, right? And a doctor title denotes learning. I know people say, well, you're not a doctor if you can't write a prescription. That's not true. Matter of fact, a doctor is a doctor of medicine, right? There are other doctors. There are doctors, like her case, PhD.
PhD, yeah.
I'm a doctor. I've got a doctorate. Chris, the GM of the station, has a doctorate. So there's those doctors, right? But she's not a medical doctor, so I don't know if the 774 was implying that she was a medical doctor or a psychologist or psychiatrist that could, take care of Joe. To answer your question, 774, she is a doctor, but she's a doctor of education. She is an EDD.
Right.
Wait,
I
she's
didn't know that.
55.
Yeah.
And he's
77.
77.
Mm.
Yeah, I think she's treating him in some way.
As any wife in that situation. No, it's not even funny. But yeah, absolutely. Your spouse.
I'm sorry.
Your spouse.
I find it very difficult to believe that a wife of 55 is going to approve of her 78-year-old husband running for office. There's got to be some other reason for this, Joe. And I know you've listened to my rant before, but he's using the process as protection.
Yes, I agree with that too, in that he's hoping that when the whole Ukraine situation came up, Biden wasn't even near the horizon as a possible nominee, right? He was so far outside of the realm of it that it was a joke to consider that Donald Trump would have been considering Joe Biden his opponent in the 2020 election, right? It was so far out.
I have something to point out to you guys about that. Okay, it's no coincidence that Biden declared his candidacy on April 25th, 2019, which was exactly 1 week after the Mueller report. So the Democrats thought Mueller was going to provide the goods to impeach the president, and when that failed, they quickly moved to concoct the Ukraine conspiracy.
Right, Joanne, so Biden was like plan E or D, right? I don't know. Well, plan A didn't work, plan B didn't work. Mueller was probably plan C or D, and Joe Biden running is probably plan E or F. You see what I'm saying? I mean, because they threw everything at him. I mean, do we count the Steele dossier as plan A?
Wait a minute, guys. I mean, let's go back to the fact that Joe Biden is there to protect the Democratic National Party. If he goes down, the party goes down. If they bag him and his kids and the other people connected to those Chinese and Ukraine deals, the whole party goes down.
Well, you know, Ted, I would like to think that, but you know what? John Solomon, and I know you guys know who that reporter is, Greg Jarrett and Tom Fitton from Judicial Watch, they have all come out and said, we think that Barr Durham is going to expose them, but don't look for any indictments. Yeah. I mean, they have all come out with...
Not while he's running for president. You're correct.
Well, I don't look for any indictments for anybody, like Comey, nobody. I mean, so which is a different topic, but just to why I'm saying that is because I don't think the DNC is so protected by the media in this country and all
Yeah.
the other
Yeah.
false forces that, I mean, they are protected from on high, you know? I mean, we just can't get anywhere. We can't even get any retribution for what they did to President Trump. The fake Russia collusion, then the fake impeachment, everything just rolls on. Now, you know what? Let's face it. This coronavirus is real,
Yeah.
but the panic induced by the media is not real.
The panic has been hyped up a little bit. I think it's been assisted. It's been pushed, and it's anything that will make this Look, they tried to hang the Monica Trump virus in the beginning of this, Joanne. Remember, they tried to call it that. They tried to say this was going to be Trump's Katrina, and of course everybody's saying, what the heck are you thinking? No, it has nothing to do. This happened in another country. A matter of fact, he has done a superb job in handling it, much better than the previous administration did with the swine flu, H1N1, right? And then you've got, by the way, before we end the show today, and I forget to bring this up because it has to do with, the whole socialism and socialized medicine. So they do have socialized medicine in Italy, right? Well, top health officials have just suggested that age limits be put in place for treatment, and that the elderly should no longer receive any care for the coronavirus. Life is that's what it is, under universal health care. So how's that working out for you in Italy? And that's what that we talked about back in 2016 when the debate was out there, and even before that, going all the way back to 2012 in the Obamacare, and the whole concept of death squads was put out there, and they tried to poo-poo that. Yeah. But basically, what do you call a panel of bureaucrats who aren't doctors, who are just going to make the decision as to who gets treatment and who doesn't? And if you are too old and you don't have the right, because if there's a difference, if you're Joe Biden and you need treatment, you're going to get it. If you're 77 years old and you're not a connected Democrat, you're not going to get it, right? So it's going to be very much like the 1984, the futuristic movies that we watch, where it all depends whether you're in the ins, right? You're an outie, you're an innie. You're connected or you're not. You're a member of the party. I mean, they literally called it the party, and that's even what in the Central Bureau, right? Russia, if you were a member, you had a car. You got to, and I'm talking, this is all during the Cold War. This isn't fiction, and this isn't another time. We're talking about.
Going on.
It's still going on, right? That in Russia, if you were a member of the Central Party, you were certain political, you got certain supermarkets you got to shop in, whereas the average citizen could only shop in, the lesser of the supermarket. That was actually real life in Russia, in socialized communist worlds. And that's not America. And all of that has got to be displayed, when every time we've got the squad and the Bernie Sanders bros coming out there. The people pushing Bernie Sanders, they just, and I don't mean this nasty. I'm meaning it in the actual definition of the word. They're ignorant, meaning they're lacking the knowledge of what socialism will really be like. And they're buying some bull that's being, force-fed to them, or spoon-fed, I should say, to them, unfortunately, in today's universities, in school.
Yes, of course. Yeah, they think and Bernie has said, it's like Scandinavia. No, socialism, communism is not like Scandinavia. They have capitalists.
Right, those are market-driven, right. They keep saying they're socialists. You got it, Joanne. They're not. Yeah. They are capitalists. They are market-driven economies with very high taxes and a lot of social programs. But they are not socialists, right? They are market. They're market economies.
There are no social programs without robust capitalism.
Absolutely. They can't exist.
Exactly.
They can't exist. All right, Joanne, anything else you want to touch on?
Well, I just want to say that they're demonizing, of course, President Trump, but where they didn't say a word against Obama when he
took 6 months to respond and 1,000 people dead. Yeah, I know.
I know. And the thing is, there was no reason for all these shutdowns, Joe. No reason at all. It's just to fan the flames and, add to Trump derangement syndrome. And let's not call it COVID-19 because the left media wants us to not blame China. You know, it's racist and xenophobe. And China is coming out and trying to say it was made in this country, which is
and they're saying that, right, our soldiers did it. I mean, the proper, and then I hear certain Democratic talking heads out there with the Chinese talking points, right? Of course. And they're coming out with that. You know, in a month ago, official in Italy, again, going back to Italy because it's so rampant there, is saying, oh, that's racist to call it, the Wuhan or the China flu. A matter of fact, that's so racist. You should go out and randomly hug an Asian person in Italy, right? A month later, the bodies are stacked up. So how was that advice, right? That was asinine. All right, now the largest manufacturer of scientific tools said it plans to produce 5 million new China virus tests. Donald Trump partnered with the private sector, right, to decisively step up the challenge of defeating this foreign virus. But the media is not giving him the credit for that. He called in the CEOs of these major corporations. He's told the Walmarts of the world and the CVSs and Walgreens of the world, I want you to set aside spaces in your parking lots so that we can have these drive-through testing sites. Move. Say again?
Very smart move.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry. I know you can criticize everything, but in the big picture of things, this administration has done a very good job.
Hey, they handed him lemons. He's making lemonade. Come on.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course he has. And only the leftist Democrats, Trump derangement syndrome sufferers, would say anything else.
Yeah.
All right,
absolutely.
Joe, I'll let you go. Thanks for taking my call.
Anytime, Joanne. Make sure Ted has your information, so I'll get you some stuff from the New England for Trump Stores closet.
You can come by the radio station and pick it up at the reception desk. We'll put your name right on it, and nobody else gets it.
There's stuff in there, and pick out whatever's there. If there's something specific, then message me and let me know, like if you want a hat or a mug or something like that, okay?
Okay. All right, that sounds great. Thanks, guys.
All right, Joanne, thank you. Okay. All right, folks. Bye-bye. Thanks. All right, folks, 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. Our text line is up and running at 617-297-8388. Like I said, only one text so far this morning. That's actually a slow for us, but it was the text about the Jill Biden being a doctor. And like I said, she is a doctor, but not a medical doctor. Right. She's a doctor of education from the University of Delaware. Her dissertation was on student retention at the community college. So that's where she got educated. So she's not an MD, folks. That's not what the deal is. All right, let's go to the phones. Jeannie, good morning.
And,
you spelled it different today, Ted.
You know something? What did you say?
He spelled your name with a G instead of a J today.
Well,
I rubbed the lamp, and out she came.
What did Mike say when I was on the phone with him? He said, Jeannie, you've reappeared. And I said, I'm a genie. I reappeared, disappeared, reappeared.
All right, well, Jeannie, I want you to appear to know exactly what we're talking about and stick to the subject.
But
I
first,
apologize.
Gene, I did. Let me tell you this before I forget. We get too far. Is remember, I got you that pink Trump hat specifically for you.
Yes.
So, and we need to make arrangements to get that for you.
That is wonderful.
You can come by the station and pick it up right at the reception desk. We won't let anybody else get at it.
Well, I trust you guys. Okay, thank you. In God we trust. In WCRN we trust. So. Thank you.
All right, Jeannie. That's Jeannie talking.
Well, first of all, everything is political, and that's the problem. And that's what we have to realize and keep on getting it out there. And you try so hard, Joe and Ted, to really illuminate the fact that the God factor is missing. When that God factor is missing, you are going to have this realm of, getting rid of people. Okay, it's not just in Italy, by the way. It is here in America.
No,
Please.
yeah, it is here in America, but the president threw up early restrictions to China. He's now put in other restrictions. He's increased that. He's left the door open. Now they said yesterday there could be domestic restrictions put on travel. But then we've got the jamokes in this country. Look at this. There's a Denver, Colorado councilwoman, right? She's out there actually saying, for the record, if I get the coronavirus, I'm attending every mega rally I can. We've got other people on the left saying, oh, if you've got it, make sure you go to a mega rally. I mean, that's just the nastiness that's out there. I mean, is taken to a new level. I don't know if you heard my opening statements yesterday morning, but it had to do with just the ridiculousness of the last almost 4 years that I've been doing this a long time, and the feeling of lately, it's not exciting, because this is a great job to have, because you get to come to work and you get to debate and talk about the issues, and you've got conservative versus liberal, progressive versus the right, that kind of thing. But this has literally been just a level of nastiness and meanness and animosity. And the left, not everybody on the left, but it seems that a lot of people on the left, both political elected officials and then the Hollywood types, right? You got Bill Maher out there praying for a depression so that it could hurt Trump, but he has no problem hurting millions of Americans to get there. You've got this people who are doing, look at shooting at the softball team because they were Republicans, nearly killing Representative Scalise. 34-year-old man slapping a 15-year-old kid that had a mega hat on in New Hampshire, driving a car into the Trump booth to register voters. I mean, this is bringing harm to people, beating up journalists, right? The new, he's Korean, the kid who they beat up. And here he is. He's a minority, right? First of all, he's Asian. Second, he's gay. And he's not even a conservative reporter. He's just wasn't on the hate Trump ban, and they hospitalized him. They beat him to the point that he was hospitalized because he was walking across the campus. This is ridiculous.
Gene, you made a point about the God factor. I want you to be confident that God is present in what's going on. There are things about the national emergency that we're not all really aware of. And,
Amen.
And I'll tell you that if people continue to behave the way Joe just described, they could be subject to elements of the national emergency that they're not aware of. The CDC is capable of suspending habeas corpus. We could very well be in a situation where we would be made to shelter in place.
Yeah, well, actually, there's a lot of authority that comes in. First of all, by the president declaring a national emergency, that kicks in a lot of power throughout federal government. And you're not just pretty much taking the cap off of spending where you need to and pulling it from where you have to. It happens here in Massachusetts as well. But it puts a lot of power into the CDC as well as other health officials. By the way, I think I should mention this because the CDC is getting a lot of criticism for this testing. You realize that the CDC, their purpose isn't testing. That's not their structure. That's not their purpose. It is to deal with with outbreaks and with diseases and viruses and all of that. But they aren't set up. They aren't the agency that's supposed to handle testing nationwide. So you can't look at the CDC and criticize them for the testing issues, right? And we did have testing issues. The original tests, there was something wrong with them, and they had to be sent back, and all of that. But the point is that the president has pulled in a handle on that. He has called these CEOs in. He's asked them to do this. They're waiving the co-payments. The word was given to the president that we didn't have enough respirators in the country. He turned around and told the manufacturers, work with me. I need you to start manufacturing those respirators, get them done ASAP. So you can criticize all you want, but you really have no real basis to dump on President Trump, because whatever angle you look at it, he's done a good job in handling this.
Okay, Joe, we have to be able, first of all, to criticize him when he's wrong.
Absolutely.
We can't become the cult either. But also, I thank you guys so much because, God will never stop working. Okay, I know that as a Christian. I know that. There's just so few people out there letting them know the real facets of God and what has happened to this nation. They don't want the 10 Commandments, God forbid.
2 minutes.
I can just interject that.
It's 7:57:30.
He kept on saying the God factor is missing. And knowing Jesus Christ, because our souls are at stake. So no matter what happens, all of this stuff that they want to put on us, and that's what they want to do.
Okay.
They want to kill older people now. We have euthanasia going on. They're murdering babies. Everything they're doing.
Well, you got to have confidence,
anti-God.
Gene. You got to have confidence that Jesus and all of the other deities will be able to affect a positive outcome.
Absolutely. Gene, thank you so much for the call. Make sure you talk to Ted before you hang up, because we'll make arrangements. And I'll make sure that the pink hat that I picked out for you is in Chris's office. You'll have it. You'll be all set there, and it'll be there for you. All right, folks, we're coming up to the end of today's show. Peter Blute coming up at 9 o'clock, so Peter Blute Show, so stick around for that. Sorry that the parades have been canceled. I know I will be off. I normally would have been leaving here and headed down to Park Ave for the St. Patrick's Day parade in Worcester, but that's been
Joe,
canceled.
one of the you were reading the numbers before, and there is a confirmed case in Worcester as of this morning.
Yeah, so confirmed case in Worcester. Look, Massachusetts is going to end up with some case. Look, we had the situation, the Long Wharf Marriott has been shut down because of the Biogen conference back in February.
Yeah, at 0.0.
So I want to remind folks to don't forget to check out our Facebook page at Joe Manji Show, as well as Twitter at Joe Manji Show as well. I'll be back on
30 seconds.
Thursday, of course, for Making Money Last with Jerry Doherty. It's Political Thursdays, and I sit in with Jerry, and we offer some political commentary then. Ted, you have a fantastic rest of the weekend.
Thanks
Enjoy
for
it.
including me, Joe.
And I'll try to do the same thing. It's nice out, and Teddy's with me, so I'm going to take him out for a walk. And everybody, enjoy your weekend, and thank you for tuning in to the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN.
WACE Chicopee and WCRN Worcester.